Ooh, I'm the ghost that haunts this land.
Oh, this land or this hotel?
The van behind the hotel.
Oh, that's really sad.
Thanks, it's all I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. But do you want to... I'll come back around and we can do this again.
I don't need your pity.
I feel really bad now. I'm sorry.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel so bad. I'm just gonna, saunter back to my car with blood in my veins pumping readily.
I can't help that I'm corporeal, dude.
I guess some people just have all the luck in the world.
Do you want to possess me for a minute? Will that make you feel better?
You just made it weird.
Sorry.
This podcast is about why horror scares us. What deep, dark secrets Scary Cinema shines a light on. The discussions are frank and involve conversations about abuse, trauma, and mental health. There are also spoilers, so keep that in mind too. Now, sharpen your machetes and straight razors, because this is Cutting Deep into Horror.
Welcome, my spookies, back to Cutting Deep into Horror. I'm, of course, your host, Henrique Couto, here with my co-host, Rachael Redolfi. Rachael, how are you?
I'm doing good. That was goofy. That was fun.
Oh, sorry. Jeez. It's goofy.
No,
hateful there.
No, I didn't say that like it's a bad thing. It's so fun.
Well, we're in the midst of our pregame for the Halloween season, which is coming right up. It's now August. And early August, but August nonetheless. And we're 2 months away from October. For me, because September is my birthday month, I really kind of get to skate till Christmas.
Yeah.
Once I get to my birthday's on the 10th of September, so it's the first third of the month too, just barely the first third. So I won't lie, but it also makes it a kind of chaotic last 4 months because it's like birthday, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then now it's like January. I'm like, oh my God, how did I get here?
What just happened?
Did anybody get the license plate on that truck? So, and September's my 40th birthday.
Ooh.
So I get to age.
That's good.
That's
good to have a plan.
That's my move, man. That's my secret move. Don't steal it. I'll be mad.
Oh man.
But yeah, so to pregame for October in the Halloween season, we're talking about yet another, not only found footage film, and relatively modern one too, just over 10 years old, but another found footage Halloween film. And there aren't a ton of those that are specifically on Halloween. And I've always had a love affair with movies set on holidays, especially Halloween and Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
So this is one, it's called House LLC. Last time we talked about the houses October built, which ironically, they came out a year apart, barely apart from each other. And they're both films about similar things.
Yeah.
One is a haunt documentary about haunted houses as in the attractions. And the other is about a group of people, House LLC, which I think is a great title, by the way. House LLC. I was saying it really fast. I've been practicing Portuguese way too much, talking fast. But it's a great title, yeah, because it tells you what you need to know, which is like spooky, but also it's a business.
Yeah.
It's the business of fright. But this is a found footage film that is much more about a haunt being put in the wrong house.
Exactly.
And unlike Houses October Built, House LLC has generated, 4 sequels.
That's a lot of sequels.
That's 4 sequels, not 4 films. That's 5 films, 4 sequels.
Oh,
sometimes
man.
I get confused. I'll be like, yeah, there's 5 sequels. I'm like, wait, no, the first one doesn't count.
Because it's
a 5 film sequel or 5 film series or 4 sequels.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so 5 total movies, which I don't think I've seen the last one, which was House LLC Lineage from August of 2025. The other ones I felt like they were pretty good.
Okay.
But But I like this one quite a bit. And they are easy to confuse because they're so similar in that one way that they're both about haunts at Halloween.
Exactly.
And if you mess up House's October Built and make it House October Built, then it totally would be a title that would fit this House LLC.
Exactly.
And House LLC would kind of fit House's October Built, except it's only one house, but it's about the business of fright. It's just about a bunch of businesses. So, and that was a really good episode. If you guys missed that, you should definitely check that one out because it was a fun one to talk about. But House LLC, if you want to watch it before we spoil the hell out of it, it is available on YouTube with ads. It's available free on Tubi with ads, Pluto TV with ads, Roku channel with ads, Plex with ads. You can also find every House LLC movie on AMC Plus or Shudder with your subscription. And of course, you could rent or buy it on Amazon Prime Video, Fandango at Home, and Apple TV. So very, very accessible and readily available. And it's directed by Stephen Cognetti, who has directed all of the House LLC sequels.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very much his series.
Okay, like his baby, his brainchild.
Exactly. And the leading actors, they did a good job, but you wouldn't recognize any of their names. You have Danny Bellini, Ryan Jennifer, Gore Adams, great name for a horror movie actor, Jared Hacker, also great name for a horror movie actor. But they're not, super well known, but they all do a very good job.
Oh yeah.
This one's got great twists and turns. One of the big elements that I love about this one, and I'm curious what you think, because we have been on we're getting ready to wrap up our found footage jaunt, at least for now.
Yes, we will come back eventually.
Oh, of course. There's just so many interesting ones, but we covered so many different found footage movies from all over the world, from different time frames.
Yeah.
And I would love for us to do definitely like Cannibal Holocaust eventually, because that was the first found footage movie. But I kind of, even though it's not that solid of a scary movie, I would love to do America's Deadliest Home Video, because that was from 92 or 93. And that's one of the earliest on video found footage movies.
Okay. I remember, I've heard the title.
Yeah, I helped remaster it.
Oh, okay.
I worked for the distributor that put it out on DVD after it had been out of print for 15 years.
Ah, that's awesome.
The director of that went on to do a ton of movies, including a bunch of movies for the Asylum in Los Angeles, the people who did Sharknado and stuff. He did a lot of commercial films and commercials. So it's funny when you work in film, when you say commercial work, you don't mean commercial television commercials. You mean commercial as in movies that are sold commercially.
Yes.
They can be on a major streaming app or whatever.
Exactly.
Like a more underground, shot on a, camcorder, down and dirty movies. Those aren't commercial films. They're more underground or whatever. Commercial movie, it's on Tubi and Hulu. You're like, oh, cool. It's a commercial movie.
Exactly.
But then, you would actually say I work on commercials.
Yes.
But it's not the great delineation. That's very confusing, but it's no, you would say I do commercial films or commercials. They're not the same thing, but they sound so similar.
Singular distinction.
But then you could say he did a lot of commercial work, which would be commercial films, as opposed to saying he did a lot of work in commercials.
Which means he is making ads and commercials.
Yes, unless actually a lot of commercials aren't really commercials unless they're from the commercial region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling white advertisements.
Okay.
I'm on
You're
it today,
on it,
man.
Yeah.
when we did our last show, I was in a rough spot because I was in the middle of changing my diet and losing weight, and it's not always fun, especially early on.
Yeah.
But I've lost 30 pounds and I feel pretty good. Yeah. And I ate a bunch of fish.
And that's that always nothing to complain about.
Yeah. It's I'm either Portuguese or dolphin. There's really, those are the two,
Why not both?
Well, their languages are both really hard to pronounce.
They've both got a lot of sounds in them,
yes.
So. Oh, we solved it. That's where the sounds came from. It's the dolphins.
Most of the Atlantic Ocean is their coast.
See?
So, see. That would be the Portuguese, the original Portuguese dolphin Latin. These are jokes people are like, I do not have any clue why we're laughing about Portuguese right now. That's fair.
Yeah, that's for us. That's just for us.
That was just for us. Sparkling white advertisements. But no, so this is a film I really enjoy, a film that I think it's actually now kind of underrated. It wasn't originally, it was very popular.
Okay.
But I feel like as time went on, some people felt like it was cool to hate on it a little bit.
That happens.
But then again, with all the sequels, I think it's still well liked.
Clearly.
So, I mean, I could be wrong, but
well, it'd be kind of weird if no one watched the sequels, but they kept making them.
I mean, that does happen, but not at this level. But it was released in 2015. And that's what I wanted to mention before I got on a long tangent. One of the things I like about this film is that the style of found footage is more than literal found footage.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you didn't say something soon, I was going to.
Yeah. It's presented as a already complete documentary.
Yeah.
Now, there are positives and negatives to me about that presentation style. One of the positives is it's presented more, so it feels more put together. You can juxtapose things like you're editing a movie, but it's meant to be taken as a documentary. Also, it can lend it if you do a really good job with the documentary elements, it can lend a believability element that can be disconcerting.
Yeah.
But the negative side is that it's hard to feel urgency, because it's like, oh, well, then after all the horrific things I'm about to see happened, somebody sat down in a dark room with some wasabi peas and a friggin' pack of Red Bull and just cranked out a first cut, and then a producer showed up and just destroyed their sense of being and made them wish they'd went to law school after all. So, not based on any true story. So, but that's something I think is important to keep in mind. But this film does something that I don't mind, although it does kind of break the illusion more. It combines that. You get like a presented documentary, but then toward the end it falls apart and just becomes the footage is found.
Yeah.
And I don't hate that, because I think that in a way that it's a great way to establish so much. I don't know. What do you think about the idea of that?
It's one of those things where, because the rest of the movie was so good, I was able to suspend my disbelief at the end and be like, okay, that works. If the acting leading up to it hadn't been so good, or if it had fallen apart like in the second act a little bit, then I feel like I kind of would I would have been way more disappointed.
You would have been more judgy on it?
Yeah.
If it hadn't immersed you so well?
Yeah, because then it would have been like, well, wait a second, but if all this happens, then how did we get the footage at the end anyway?
Yeah.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not going to say the name of the film because I don't want to spoil it, but there was a found footage movie that was mostly a mockumentary. We'll eventually watch it for the show, but I'm literally saying like the literal end, so I don't want to tell you what it is. But I love it. But the ending literally cuts to being a narrative movie. Like it just cuts, and all of a sudden it's a narrative film of like the reveal of the bad guy and what he's done and da-da-da. And it's not like it doesn't become a narrative movie. It's the last like minute of the whole film. And I get why they did it. And I will say they did it early enough in the era that it was very different and ballsy.
Okay.
But I remember even as a teenager watching it took me out of it. It made me kind of go, oh man, because as a, producer and director of several found footage movies and a lover of them, there is an element of that I like when they're perfect logically, or as close as you can get. Like it makes sense why the camera was always on. It makes sense why they're doing what they're doing, why they keep filming. I like that stuff, draws me in a lot. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you hand me something as strongly done as House LLC, I just can let go of that because I love a good fake documentary.
Oh yeah.
I mean, ever since the Curse of the Blair Witch Sci-Fi Channel fake documentary, that thing, there are 2 other fake Blair Witch documentaries I still haven't watched. I had to hunt them down. They were for Showtime back in the early 2000s. I told you about them a year ago, and you were like, that sounds cool. And then you went off and like played with trees or something.
Yeah. Well,
sounds like you.
They were out there.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. It's better than in the house, which is where they seem to want to be. At least their roots in my damn drains.
I know.
That's not fine.
It's really not fun.
No, it's actually it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
This is too scary, actually.
Yeah, too
I feel
spooky,
like we should have had a content warning there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're going to talk about mortgages. We're going to talk about foundational issues with homes. We're going to talk about
So
termites.
anyways, your house on a slab?
Yeah, thank goodness. I am in a way slab is great unless it somehow gets damaged, which is rare. Then it's a real big problem.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about rot and stuff because it's slab. Anyway, see, you made it worse. But yeah, so I love that that's the presentation style. I think it really serves the film very well.
I agree.
And I don't mind that it kind of breaks some of my personal rules because it works well.
Yeah.
And that always, I mean, Did You Get Me Entertained always trumps anything else.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Always. So unless it's the Odyssey and they scream like, we shot it in IMAX for perfection. And then I'm like, that shot's not in focus. That happened. I saw it in IMAX and I literally like 3 times the shot was like soft because somebody moved a little and then the rest of the shot was soft. And I just turned to Dave and I was like, I
love watching movies with you guys because every once in a while I'll just hear one of you guys yell, focus!
Focus! Yeah, especially when we're watching older movies. See, they have the excuse of having such a low budget that they couldn't know it was out of focus
until after
a week later or more
exactly
during the rushes. So
but Christopher Nolan,
he had to have had a video tap in his camera, which allows you to see it on a screen.
Exactly.
And if he didn't, he still could have afforded to reshoot. But we're not talking about Odyssey. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll get into more of the more specific nitty gritty of House LLC right after this. All right, we're back talking about House LLC. And I do want to also mention that, as I just said, like one of the things that makes a found footage movie great is this thing and that thing. Cannibal Holocaust is literally a narrative movie that features them watching found footage. So, you know, I'm not a stickler at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you get me laughing, you get me crying, you get me interested, and I forget the gree-grees and issues really, really fast. So, you know, that's just my way.
No, I agree.
So, but yeah. So, with House LLC, you do get the vibe that this was a relatively small movie kind of pushed together by friends with a small amount of money. I don't know what the budget was. It was never published, but if I had to guess, it was probably in the $15,000, maybe $20,000 range.
I could see that.
One of the things they did to make the movie seem more expensive that is always smart, and I highly recommend this to filmmakers, is it's set outside of New York City, right?
Right.
Because they mentioned their first haunt was in New York City.
Yeah.
And then they're opening a new haunt, and this one is in Abaddon, upstate New York.
Right.
Abaddon, of course, is a great name for a city that's going to be creepy because Abaddon was like the Greek or the Hebrew term. It meant destruction. It was like
it's
Apollyon.
like the angel.
Apollyon, yeah.
Yeah.
Apollyon was the Greek version. So a destroyer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Sorry, did you have
I was going to say the angel of destruction.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So Abaddon's a great name for the town. I think that's great. And it's upstate New York. They reference that it's maybe an hour outside of New York City, which is, you know, perfect for that because, you know, people will come there. But here's what I'm saying about like that they did this so smart. So they set it in upstate New York and that it was by New York City. We've been to upstate New York together when we worked on a movie. Upstate New York is a more expensive place in general. I mean, just in general, everything's a little bit more expensive. You know where they actually shot the film?
Pennsylvania. New Jersey.
Well, New Jersey's not cheaper than upstate New York for the most part. But yes, they shot it in Lehighton.
Oh, hey!
We drove past the hotel when we went to the Joe Bob thing. And I even made a comment, but you hadn't seen the movie, so I think it just went over your head.
It totally did.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
I said, House LLC was shot there, and why would you? You didn't know it, so why would it really register that much? But no, we drove right past it. It's like 10, maybe 15 minutes from the Mahoning Drive-In in Lehighton, Pennsylvania.
Really?
It's right there, and that's where that guy's from. The director's from there or from around there. So, but by saying it took place in a place that's more populous and more expensive, you kind of, in a weird way, give it an air of expensiveness.
Yeah.
And the idea that they were running a haunt in New York City suggests that they were spending money and making money. And then it makes all of it feel more believable as they're moving into this place that was like abandoned in Abaddon, New York, which is not a real place. I think we mentioned that, but it makes more sense that they were able to, like build a whole new haunt.
Right.
But also why they would want to get out of New York to save money and, and the hassle and all that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really clever move, and it's not hard. Like when I did A Bulldog for Christmas, which is a family movie I directed, I set it in Los Angeles and we shot it in Dayton, Ohio. Because I was like, well, it just sounds more expensive.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be winter and there was minimal snow. So I was like, well, then we'll set it in Los Angeles because there's no snow ever. And then when there was snow later, they drove to Northern California. So we set the whole thing in California, used California footage, used California landmarks, and we've never been called out for it because why would you?
Yeah.
But it's just funny. Like that made the movie kind of come off more expensive.
It does. Yeah.
But
built-in production value.
By saying we were somewhere.
Psychology is great.
So, but anyway, so I love that element. But what we get here as we start up the actual film is this documentary basically giving us a nice cold open of that like 15 people, including nearly all the staff, died in what was declared a severe malfunction of the haunt.
Yeah.
And we're treated to a bunch of what looks like footage that people were taking themselves, home video footage.
Right.
Of them like in line for the haunt.
On their phones
or camcorders. Because this was before everybody had a smart. It was deep into the beginning of everybody having smartphones, but not everybody did. Some people actually had little handheld camcorders.
I do remember that era.
The flip camera.
Yeah.
I had a flip camera. By the time I got one, my iPhone became better than it almost immediately. And I was like, damn it, why did I spend $90 on this thing?
Damn you, technology.
Damn you, creative destruction. So, but so that alone, that brings up a lot of questions immediately. Like, oh shit. So this haunt has a bunch of people die. And then we're introduced to, a documentary team, an investigative documentary team, led by Diane Graves.
Yeah.
And her cameraman, Jonathan. And they're, interviewing people and talking about the rumors of supernatural activity. It's just really setting the stage very well.
It did. Yeah, it did a fantastic job setting it up. And I loved the initial setup of, showing all the footage from the perspective of the haunt goers.
Yeah.
Because giving you that initial taste of what happened really makes you want to know from the documentary team, like what they uncover.
Oh yeah. It's I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, is to hook people, and they're doing it very well. And from here, things only get weirder, more twisty and fascinating as they're going to present all of this footage that they were, I forget, how did they get hold of it? Do you remember?
Sarah gives it to them.
That's what it was. Okay. She gave them, well, because, she gave them all the footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
She said she got it from the location before the police could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she brought it to them.
Which is weird. So Sarah is the only one who survived.
Yeah. She's the sole survivor, and she was Alex, the owner of House LLC. Wasn't she his girlfriend?
Girlfriend, yeah. And that is a really cool twist. My brain got confused for a second. I was like, I thought maybe they had a bunch of footage, but then she brought them the really interesting footage. But no, it was all of it. And she gives them these tapes. And initially it's just home movie stuff. They wanted to have stuff that they could remember it by, and stuff that they could turn into advertising later to show how they built it up. Which makes sense because, if you film a haunt being built and then the haunt's a huge success, everybody would love to see how it came to be.
Exactly.
So we get this footage, and obviously there's some weird stuff, but also how weird that Sarah got the footage before the police did. Wouldn't the police care the most about getting this footage? We'll talk about that and a lot more right after this. So our faithful haunters, ironic, they're haunters going into a haunting. They go to this the abandoned Hotel Abaddon, of course, aptly, the Hotel Abaddon in Rockland County, which is the rural area outside of New York, to get it set up for Halloween. And I think they say it's like the middle of September.
Yeah.
So that's like not a lot of time.
Yeah. They've got it's a crunch.
Yeah.
And it's definitely more time. That's one thing that I did like about this, and that helped set it apart for me from House's October build is, while it's not much more time, there is more time that passes in this movie.
Yeah.
So it feels like you get to know the characters a little bit more intimately in a way, because you're spending a little more, time with them.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah. So they're going around this dilapidated hotel and it is beat to crap. They're finding like one of my favorite parts was right at the start when they were finding just all the weird random junk in the front. Then they find like it was like a treadmill or something, and they're just like, or an exercise bike or something.
Yeah. And well, that was all scary. But then by the time they get to the basement, they find like a pile of old Bibles and like disturbing symbols scrawled on the walls, and like stuff set up for like rituals.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alex, the CEO of House LLC, he makes it sound like he did not do an immense amount of due diligence before they moved there, that he just kind of found out this place was sitting abandoned, that it had a creepy reputation, and that the community would actually be thrilled if it was turned into something, because it's a small community and that would be good for the economy.
Exactly.
But I call BS, because when he sees the layout of the house and everything, remember, he immediately mentions that he wants the Hell House, the attraction, to culminate in the basement where there's like a cult sacrifice and a woman chained up. Because then almost immediately after we'll meet the actress they hired to play her. But that's interesting, because we hear like little rumbles of what the town thinks of it. But once we meet Melissa, the local scare actor, that they're the first one that they hire, the young woman, which it makes sense that she'd be the first person they hire, because while she's not going to do anything super salacious, she has to be like in a bra with like a cut open shirt. She has to be a little scandalous.
Yeah.
So you'd want to find that person right away and make sure they're comfortable and they don't want to quit, as opposed to like a guy in like a mask can just be whoever.
Yeah.
But,
give that job to Bubba. It's fine.
Or you could give it to Pauline, it doesn't really matter. It's a big mask. Like, just put on the overalls. So, but when they start talking to her, she starts talking with Alex and the cameraman, Paul, the cameraman, not of the documentary, but of the crew, about the hotel being rumored to be haunted. And she kind of mentions that like there was a belief there was a cult there, which makes me think that Alex knew, because why the hell did he think immediately like it should end with a cult in the basement? I mean, of course, they found all the culty stuff in the basement, but I think he knew. I think he knew about that, and he just didn't want to tell anybody because he was afraid that it would kook them out.
Oh yeah, and we get that throughout the whole movie, where as things continue to escalate, Alex really just explains it away.
Yeah,
but you don't go into a hotel and anticipate it to be haunted necessarily. Even if there are rumors, you're not necessarily thinking like, oh yeah, and this is the time ghosts will be real.
That's fair.
So
That's a fair
I
point.
can kind of give him that. But he does also, like, every time there's something that goes wrong, Alex has an explanation or an excuse, or no, this is just production value, or no, we can get past this, or no, we're past the point of no return. Like we'll all lose out if we don't open this weekend,
Well, that's another reason that the title works so well, because it's a business.
Yeah.
And all of his money and all of Sarah's money are in this attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember them going into super detail, but they make it sound like some financial issue happened that especially got them out of New York, or that they had a bad season, or it was kind of hinted at, but I don't think it was spelled out, or maybe I'm just remembering incorrectly.
I do not remember it being explicitly spelled out, and when I read the transcript, I don't believe it was mentioned. But they did mention.
Just like remove the sense of that you watched the movie intensely and make everybody know you just cheated.
I watched the movie intensely with you, and then I went back through and I was like, I need to make sure I remember things.
It's all right. You just don't believe in the veil of like mystery that we give for people.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But another element, because again, it's a mockumentary, after that is kind of discussed, then they go to an expert that's being interviewed who's an expert in like the history around that part of New York, upstate New York. And he talks about how the hotel was originally built by a cultist, like a very questionable figure, and that he chose the location because the town's name was Abaddon, and that the demon that guards the gate of hell or something, and that in 1989 a young mother and her daughter disappeared while staying there, and that was kind of the big thing that caused the place to start questioning if it was like a safe place to be or what was going on with the crazy cult guy.
Yeah.
But that he was cleared of any wrongdoing in their disappearance, but it destroyed the reputation of the hotel. And then the big element that the cult leader hung himself shortly after in the hotel.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they're talking about like putting hanging fake corpses in like the room where they think he might have been hung, which,
ghosts love that.
It's a choice. And yeah. So as they're getting deeper into this hotel, this formerly abandoned hotel, things are getting more weird and supernatural and kind of in a weird way, fourth wall-y. It kind of get like breaking the fourth wall in weird ways. Like we see them watching footage back and stuff, but we'll get to all the details of that right after this.
So the crew, they get to this abandoned hotel and Alex is amped. He even keeps saying like, it's free production value, man. And I had to laugh because you and I have literally done the same thing, like on sets.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like our friend Pam, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry about like this side of the barn doesn't look great. And we're like, no, don't do anything. This is perfect.
But I've also been on the other side of that. I have been crew on films where they're like, this is production value. And I'm like, this is legitimate, dangerous filth.
Yeah.
Like, this is not safe for people to be around all day.
Exactly. And that's kind of the point that like the crew was even trying to make was like, is there black mold? Are we going to get sick and die here? And he's like, nah, it's great. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And things seem to go well because, the place has been abandoned for years. So when they get there, like there's not even electricity. So they have to wait.
I love that touch too, that they get there and there's just no power.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, we're going to check out the place we've just rented. By the way, here's your flashlights.
Yeah.
You will need them.
Yeah. You're going to need these some bitches.
So yeah, they have to spend like the first week in campers, but then when they finally get electricity, it seems like everything is going great until one night Paul is kind of like sitting there like blogging, which is like, this was back when blogging was first like a wee baby infant thing.
At this point it was actually on its way out.
Oh, was it? Okay.
By 2015.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like that was when social media was pretty much clear that it was going to be the main thing.
Okay.
Blogs were a little bit more specialized. Like not everybody had a blog, but people who like, talked about stuff at length had blogs.
Yeah.
As opposed to that little period when like everybody had a Zanga,
right.
When they were still trying to figure out like, it was MySpace and Zanga and LiveJournal.
Oh my God, LiveJournal. And
but
then it got bought by the Russians.
It did. Of course it did. Everything does. But that's the hope for this show, is that it'll get bought out by the Russians and I can retire fat and happy. But
Duh.
But if I remember correctly, that was the era when blogs became like a thing you did if you were really into a thing.
You are correct.
You didn't just have a blog because you were you.
Yeah, and that was kind of the point that Paul was making for his blog. Was he was kind of like, Alex is the owner of House LLC, but you really get the idea that Paul was kind of like the idea guy. So Paul was like, oh, well, I'm going to record a blog every night of like what we've been doing so that our Hell House fans will, be able to see it and see what we've got planned for the next year. And as he's recording, he realizes that Sarah's just kind of wandering around.
Yeah.
And realizes that she's sleepwalking, and she just walks to one of the abandoned rooms and just stands stock still in a corner.
Yeah.
Which is unsettling.
I'm a big fan of the like a person's just standing there.
Oh, it's so
thing.
creepy.
I think it's fascinating. I love, like, that's one of my favorite things, to go back to one of the movies we talked about a few weeks ago, Paranormal Activity. I love when she just stands there looking at him and then the timer moves to tell you that she stood in the exact same place staring for 3 or 4 hours, because that we know it's kind of like the whole thing where like you watch a horror movie, somebody gets their head cut off. You're like, oh, but then somebody cuts themselves shaving. You're like, oh God, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Because you identify, it's like we've all had to stand in one place for at least a while. And the reason I could say for a while is because if you didn't stand in one place for 2 hours, it was because you felt how uncomfortable it was. So you no, I'm going to pace instead of standing like this.
Yeah.
So it tells you like how unnatural it is for a human to just be like, I'm going to stand here and do nothing. It's completely alien to almost everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a monk or something, or you're doing like super, super advanced Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So I love that because it's a subtle thing and it's something we do every day. It's just done in a way we would never do. So it's really off-putting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's great. And this movie is full of that, which we will be getting to a lot more soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sarah at night is acting a little bit odd. And this is where, like, again, being not just a straight found footage, being more of a mockumentary thing, as the documentary crew is talking about the original Abaddon Hotel and about Tully committing suicide, they also explain that Joey, one of the crew members, did survive the first night with Sarah and then promptly committed suicide like a week later. So like that's why Sarah is, the only person they can talk to is because even though the one other person that did survive, like it was so horrific that he couldn't go on.
Yeah, and they held that back too for a little while and then eventually revealed it.
Yeah.
Because they were like the only survivor, and then it was like, well, what about that? And they're like, and then later we find out it's because they went to find him again and he killed himself.
Yeah.
So and whenever we've been seeing the like little hints of like that night, it's mostly just chaos, and then the cops and the fire department showing up almost immediately and just trying to figure out what the hell is even going on. Why is everybody freaking out? I love that because it keeps making me think like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? And
the fact that they keep calling it a catastrophic malfunction.
Yeah.
Also like really raises alarm bells, because if it was like malfunction versus accident are two very different things. And just calling it a malfunction, I throughout the whole thing, I was like, well, malfunction means that something was supposed to go a certain way and it didn't.
Well, you also have to look at it this way. Calling it a malfunction is a way of stating that they did not find human error or malice or human malice.
Oh, exactly.
So if you think about it, if you die in a haunt, since the function of the haunt was not to kill you, that is a malfunction. A very broad definition of malfunction, though. No,
but I mean, like,
call
that a malfunction.
If you die on a set of stairs,
the stairs malfunction.
If the stairs somehow killed you, then by definition it is a malfunction.
Yes.
So what I mean is to say that like that they basically chose the most vague answer to the problem they could because they had no further answers.
Exactly.
It's like, well, it's a malfunction because like people got hurt trying to get out and stuff, and they weren't meant to not be able to get out, and they weren't meant to trample each other to get out. So it was a malfunction of the event or whatever, the haunt, the attraction.
Exactly.
So, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about these weird fugue states they seem to be under, and how opening night, which is coming right up, gets pretty tense right after this.
As if sleepwalking friends is not enough, once Sarah finally starts to be sleeping throughout the night, then they start hearing like disembodied screams and voices. And when they're hearing these, they're all sleeping like up top. It's a hotel, so like the rooms are like way on the top floor.
Yeah.
And then there's the basement, like the cellar area or whatever. And they're hearing the noises come from the cellar. And they've already started to set up the basement for the haunt. And they go down there with the camera, because of course you go down there with the camera.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're capturing them setting everything up.
Exactly.
And they're also like doing tech, they're checking on what's working, what's not. Because I think you're leading into one of the big problems, which was that they were annoyed because they got these mannequins that are dressed up and they're not posable in quite the way they wanted.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. Like they wanted the ones that you could like pretty much put in any position, but these are just like stand up ones.
Armaturized or whatever it's called.
So they were kind of upset about that. And they're also realizing that there are a lot of blind spots in the security cameras too.
Oh yeah, and for those who are like, security cameras are a major element of haunts because they need to have in a central space how everything's going, where the guests are, to let the haunt actors know when to scare them, when to hide, when to jump out. It's a whole system.
Yeah.
So you have to have as much coverage with cameras as you can, at the very least, so people can know, like, hide behind the door, like they're coming right up, or, go ahead and stay out. They're already almost to you. Or whatever.
Exactly. So as that's part of the reason that they are filming themselves, is they're also recording like, oh, this is an area where we were supposed to have cameras, but it's not working. And as he's filming, he realizes these stupid clowns that they were so upset about have all been moved to like a totally different corner.
Clown mannequins.
Clown mannequins. So he gets really upset because they've only got like a week left, and somebody's fucking around and like moving these clown mannequins. So he puts them back. And as he goes to talk to other characters, the viewers, realize the mannequins have moved back to where they were.
Yes. And
nobody else notices it until they're done talking and yelling at each other about moving these stupid mannequins, and then turn and look and realize they're back. And that's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
But it gets worse, because as they're freaking out and yelling at each other, one of the new hires is just kind of like standing off in the corner. And they start yelling at him like, look, you need to start working. If you're going to be down here, start working. And he doesn't do anything. So they walk off. And then they see him standing in another room and freak out because he was just downstairs.
Yeah.
And he would have had to like walk past them in the stairway to get up to this other room.
Well, it's worth mentioning, during that sequence, he's not just standing there. He's like standing there looking like he's trying to scare him, like trying to be creepy because that's his gig. And the scene before, we had just met that guy.
Yeah.
And he was like the most chill, goofy dude who's just like, oh, it'll be cool doing a haunt. And then he's standing in his costume and he's like doing his scary stance, his like the haunt stance and everything. And it's like, dude, like
give it a break.
Like, we're busy. I got stuff to do. I'm just trying to make sure everything's working. And yeah, sure enough, when he goes back over, he sees him there and he's like, how did you get over here? And he doesn't have his mask on or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, how did you get over here? He's like, I've been sitting here.
Yeah.
And that's a great low impact way to creep the audience out.
It really is.
It's a solid way to make you go, oh.
Yeah.
Because like that dude was standing there super imposing, but if it was somebody you knew, even if you just met him that day, you hired him to work at a haunt. So you just be like, yeah, I know it's fun and stuff, but like not right now, dude. When he's standing there going like, yeah,
you'd
be like, yeah. But
I
like,
get it.
Later, it's fun, but like not right now. But the moment you realize like, then who the hell was down there? And that's like such a great classic spooky trope is just if you're here, then that's actually like, I feel like I got that the most from like Looney Tunes. Wait, if you're up here, then who am I holding hands with or whatever? Yeah, it's actually, it's more Scooby-Doo. Yeah. But I always love those gags and they're so simple, but they're very effective.
They really are. And that's what I like. You mentioned Paranormal Activity, and a lot of the scares in House LLC are similar in that they follow the less is more formula. So it's, the camera is trained on the characters and then you notice that something in the background has moved. Or, someone is there and suddenly they're not. The real simple, like, it deeply psychologically unsettling things.
Yeah.
And that, that sequence with the clowns, the clown mannequins especially got me thinking about like some of your shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've relied on similar techniques before.
Yeah, I mean, a bit. I mean, with Scary Clown, which is a short on YouTube that I directed a while back, which was a really cool Halloween short.
That was the clown.
You were the clown. The clown was just standing in the front yard, and it wasn't so much pretending to be a statue as people were assuming it was a statue.
Yeah,
I feel like it was more of that because it was just standing there because the big gag was that after the trick-or-treaters run off and you see all these decorations, including a clown standing there, then the clown's head just turns. And you're like, oh, that's a person, not a clown.
Yeah.
But with Christmas Presents, which is the other one you were talking about.
Yeah.
A Christmas horror film. That one, I took the old urban legend of the clown statue.
Right.
And turned it into the Santa statue because I've always loved that. And for those who don't know the old clown statue story, it's really as simple as this babysitter's at a house. They have all these, the person that owns the house is kind of eccentric. So they have like odd decorations of some sort, depending on the version you hear. And one of the things is they have a clown statue. And then the big joke is like the babysitter's hanging out. The clown statue scares them, startles them a few times. And then the phone rings and they pick it up and it's the parents of the kid that she's babysitting. And they're like, how's it going over there? And they're like, oh, honestly, it's not too bad. Your kid's been great. They've been asleep for like 2 hours already, had some, ate some chips and drank some soda like you told me I could. And, honestly, like the only thing that's been weird is just that clown statue in the den is just so creepy. But like, I know it's because I'm here alone and like the lights are off in there. And then the big shock is when there's a long pause on the phone and they go, what clown statue? And in some versions, that's the end, but not the full ending. In some versions, it's just that's never resolved. Like they don't then get attacked by the clown or whatever. They like go back in the room and it's not there anymore. And that's the end of it. It's just, well, what the hell was the clown statue then? And in other versions, it attacks you or whatever. And we did it the same kind of concept, but it was that this family had this insane Christmas decoration, this room full of Christmas decorations. And after you see that, to the room off from all the Christmas decorations is just this very creepy, almost Michael Myers Santa Claus. And that's the big gag is like, it keeps creeping her out. She starts seeing it out of the corner of her eye because she's like all creeped out. And then the parents call and just creeped out by the Santa statue. What Santa statue? Because the decorations you see before, there's no statues. There's no full-size things. It's just like miniatures and trinkets.
Yeah.
So, similar gag, except we had ours end with the Santa throwing his red bag over top of her as she's trying to yell, call the police, and then she gets grabbed by it. But yeah, ideas like having things move when you're not looking or thinking something's a statue when it's not. The not really a statue thing is just generally a very strong trope of Halloween for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The most popular decoration to scare people, trick-or-treaters at your house, is to have somebody pretend to be a statue. And it's pretty easy once you're covered in enough costume. So
I really want to do that.
I did it one year and I scared some kids so bad, and their parents would like set them up for the scares too. They were totally complicit. It was really awesome. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll talk about the things that are far scarier than statues, and maybe some more freaky statues right after this.
Things are escalating.
Yes. Very, very well said.
And now things are unmistakably dangerous for the crew. But Alex is still playing it off like, oh, well, I don't care about the figure that you saw in the basement that you couldn't explain. That guy's just a prankster, okay?
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's fine.
Or you're the prankster.
Yeah, like
trying to freak me out.
Fine. It'll be fine. But
yeah.
It's not fine because there's only 3 days left until the big day. Everybody's stressed out. Nobody's like sleeping anymore. They're all working all the time. And Alex doesn't think there's anything wrong.
No, even though, have we even talked about the weird things that are happening upstairs when the camera guy is trying to sleep?
We haven't even, because we've mentioned, all we've mentioned is that he saw Sarah that one time, but we haven't mentioned that, he's still recording those blogs and creepy things are still happening during them. Like, just creepy ghost lady shows up while he's talking. And I love that sequence because it took me back to being a kid.
Oh, yeah.
When you're scared and it's like the only thing you have to comfort yourself is a blanket.
Yeah, at one point he literally hides under the covers because he's so startled by something creepy while he's in bed. And so that's some of the most effective, like what I would call traditional found footage scares in the film are those sequences. Because what happens is when he's filming his little vlogs, not blogs, vlogs, when they're video.
Sorry.
But when he's filming those, often the doorway behind him is open, which makes sense. It's an old place. It's probably stuffy as hell. You'd want your doors open. It's not like it's a hotel full of strangers. It's all your friends, and then whatever evil menace is also there. So we get that moment. We get these moments where we're like looking at the door, and sometimes nothing ever comes, and sometimes things come, and sometimes they come immediately, and it is very scary. And one of the times there's just this like ghost woman there. Like that was really freaky to me. I mean, she's just there right in front of him.
Yeah.
Like that stuff really got to me, man.
I agree. And I think the reason that it got to me even more is because overall, Paul's a generally level-headed guy.
Yeah.
Throughout the day. So it gets even more unsettling when you think like, oh, this guy is generally unflappable and it's getting to him.
Yeah.
This bad. Which, how's Sarah doing? Because she's not doing great either. She's back to sleepwalking again. And this time she's making it down to the basement and talking in weird languages.
And while that's happening, we're also getting bits and pieces of her interview with the documentary crew because it's still a documentary.
Yeah.
And we're basically seeing them react to the footage because she hands them the footage and then they keep talking to her as we see the footage being shown. So like while they're talking to her, only the editor, you would assume, has watched the footage because he's the one editing it into the movie that you're watching of sorts. Sort of. I mean, it's like I said, they play a little fast and loose with it, but I think it's fun enough that it works.
Yeah.
I don't care, that it's a little silly. But so they're asking her questions and, for the most part, her answers are either kind of poetically tragic, given what all happened, very believable, well, we always got along, or I always believed in the stuff he was doing. I always loved working on the haunts and stuff with him. And then it slowly becomes like, what about this? I don't know. I don't know. And that stuff makes it even creepier that it's like, what do you mean you don't know? It's like, I don't know. So, and that ends up playing into some of the better tension and suspense a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
But
sorry,
Rachael and her. So, but, but, no, but it's pretty effective. But yeah, his vlogging upstairs at night is pretty solid. I mean, he hears weird noises and he's always checking things out, but eventually it's just straight up like some kind of ghostly thing is after him.
Yeah, it's clearly like tormenting him.
Yeah.
And again, that's why it's upsetting, is because this is one of the guys that, Alex is sympathetic, but he's like really, really, really so obsessed with his business, which he's got to be.
Yeah.
So like there's a little bit there where you're like, oh, I can kind of see how like Alex is so focused on this that he can't see what's going on. Right. And like Sarah, she's deteriorating so rapidly, like she can't see what's going on. But Paul is pretty level-headed, and he's one of those people, again, holding the camera. He's kind of like the insert for the audience. So feeling like he's being targeted really made me feel like, oh, now the ghostie's coming after me too.
Sure.
Like that, which and obviously is what they want you to do. But
yeah, and the idea that whatever's happening is coming for you is one of found footage's greatest strengths, is that you become the filmmaker, and the filmmaker is oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes the victim.
Yeah.
Or if they're not the victim, they're the perpetrator, and then that's even worse in a way because it's making you complicit, which is kind of scarier in a lot of ways. But complicity doesn't even begin to cover what we're going to talk about when we get back.
Poor Paul, hiding under the blankets from this creepy ghosty lady. And because he'd been recording himself for the vlog, so he had set the camera down. We see him pull the blankets over his head.
Yeah.
And he disappears. And the camera's still there. The camera, because again, this is a lot about the camera recording things that the people in the movie can't see. Right. The camera is still there, still filming. Everyone runs in because they've heard the commotion. They try to find Paul. They're running around looking for him, and they try to call his phone, and all they can hear is like a creepy disembodied scream. If
that. Yeah. Sometimes they just got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very unnerving.
And then when they finally do find him, he's like almost unresponsive. He's not comatose, but he's like in a fugue state.
Oh, I was going to say fugue. Yeah. He's in like a fugue state. And they find him in the basement.
Yeah.
After not seeing him for a day or two.
Yeah.
Which is a lot when you're like less than a week from opening. Him being gone for a day or two is
a lot of time.
A very long time for him to be missing.
But see, they kind of play it off too, because Paul, even though he is rational, he's also one of those people that once he gets his hackles up, he has to cool down or he will explode. And everyone knows this about him. All of his friends know. So he's one of those people that if he's going to explode, he removes himself. And he's done this before. Yeah, where he bugs out.
They mentioned that at one of the other haunts they'd opened, he like fucked off for a day or two near the open and then came back.
Yeah.
And came through. But Alex also kind of says, this is just what he does. He's kind of a flake, It's
yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, he literally was how they were looking for him this whole time, and then they find him in the basement. So I guess they just think he like snuck in.
Yeah.
Without
anyone noticing.
Which maybe, you could probably do that, but why then just sit there barely reactive in the basement, and then when they find you, still kind of be barely there? It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. From not in a story sense, it's awesome.
But
why would
from
they
a logical
sense?
Yeah. And for me, because I know I've mentioned it in other movies, like you kind of have to ask in a horror movie, like if you were in this situation, when would you nope out?
Yeah.
And a lot of the team were on the same page as me, because like if I saw my friend come back like that, I would not be okay.
Yeah.
I would say we need to stop. I would think there's black mold and we are all going insane, or something. And And everyone else is on the same page. They're all like, we need to stop. But Alex, again, this is his livelihood. This is his business.
Yeah.
His whole life is tied up in this. And while he's sitting there and like arguing, we do eventually find out that a lot of the crew do feel like beholden to him, like they can't leave. They're loyal to him, and they're loyal to Hell House, and they're loyal to this industry. And you kind of get a feeling like if they back out on him, it's going to reflect poorly on them for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's
That's a
like
really good point.
You can't just peace out like Paul just did.
Yeah, no, that's really a very fair point.
So, but yeah, that's for me personally. I would have been like, I'm sorry, Alex, I've got to go, but they don't. So now we're getting even closer to opening night, and everyone says you should stop. Alex says the show must go on. And this
of course he does. I mean, it's his show.
It's his show. The ringleader calls the shots.
Yep.
So now I thought this was great because we start getting basically like 2 or 3 different viewpoints. We get the crew's camera of behind the scenes footage. We get the security footage of what's going on during the haunt. And then we get the footage from all the different haunt goers that were there. And it's, we kind of jump between different views. And the actress is down in the basement. She's chained up. The haunt actor that's supposed to be down there with her. And like the whole plan was he's down there really to keep her safe.
Yeah. Well, just to make sure like nobody creeps on her or just violates her personal space or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but he's there to scare people.
Well, and I think also because she, like everybody now, none of them really want to be alone in that house house. It's more of a hotel, but nobody wants to be alone there because they've all seen some creepy stuff.
Yeah. And most importantly, for some reason, for authenticity's sake, they decide that this actress should actually be chained to the wall.
Yeah.
And so Joey is the only person with a key. Because that's smart. That's really smart. And this is where you start to realize that I'm the more I think about it, you're right. This is a malfunction because the tragedy that transpires with the haunt actors is one thing, but the pandemonium that resulted in, 15 other people dying could have been prevented if they had better walkie-talkies, or if they could have been able to see all of the guests like they were supposed to.
But that stuff seemed to be ghost issues. The walkie-talkies did not seem cheap. In fact, that was the thing that was pissing Alex off, but it also feeds perfectly into the story. Because people are like, these cheap walkie-talkies, they're not cheap and they've always worked.
Yeah.
Like, why would they not work now? So you're right, but it also makes sense why that then they would just doubt him because he's cutting corners and demanding that they not let go. So they're like, well, then I'm not going to believe that the walkie-talkies are fine. But there are bigger problems than cameras and walkie-talkies, and we'll get to them right after this.
So the haunt's open.
Yes, it is.
And it is packed.
Like jam-packed. and remember, these are people now driving an hour out of New York City is not the biggest deal in the world. And there are also already highly populated places outside New York City that people live there already. So being west, which you have to be west of New York, because if you're east of New York, you're in the ocean.
I would love to see that haunted house.
Right? Poseidon's doom.
I'm terrified.
Good. You should have seen Odyssey then, because Poseidon is kind of the reason everything bad happens.
I know.
I read a poem. You're just a punk. But so if you think about it, like people in Westchester and places like that, they are already out of the city, and then they just have to drive an easy drive into the country.
Right.
So I could totally see them being able to get quite a few people to come out there. And then, of course, the goal is that then word of mouth would cause even more people to come. And then hopefully people from that Adirondack kind of area would kind of flood in as well. And, so yeah, my point is just that, like, I remember being so like, whoa, the first time I watched it, because I was like, damn, okay. So they're legit. Like they can pack a haunted house. Like people are into what they're doing and they're throwing a big shindig of sorts.
Exactly. No. And it's clear that not only do they have a lot of fans, because you can see like through the footage that some of the people like are talking like, oh, I wonder what's happening like this year. Like clearly they've been following.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also shows like he is good at marketing. He's good at pulling people in. He's good at getting a crowd.
Well, and imagine, I mean, just put yourself in the mind of the fan of that. And, we're in the midst of the internet age at that point, so like people could follow them on Facebook or Twitter or whatever at that point. Imagine you go to a haunt, you live in New York City and you go to a haunt super, super good, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, that was awesome. And it's like, well, unfortunately, after whatever many years we've done it here, we're closing down and we're moving to a new location, which is an actual haunted hotel on the outskirts of New York.
What? No, yeah, like my brain would explode.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier to get quite a few of those people to drive out for that.
Yeah.
So that's also clever marketing and meanwhile, everything about that will be infinitely cheaper.
Yeah.
And I bet you that hotel's way bigger than whatever they were using in New York too, because
Absolutely.
Everything per square foot, everything's expensive as hell. So it's actually really clever because when you think of it that way, it's like that would be the scuttlebutt. The scuttlebutt would be they're opening a new place at a supposedly actually haunted place in this like nowhere town outside of the city. We got to go, man.
Yeah.
Which weekend are you off work?
Exactly.
So
I'm taking my time off right now.
Yeah. I'm calling my boss right now and telling him I hate him. So it's a solid, but yeah, there's something to me that was really awesome about seeing that crowd. Unfortunately, but awesome. And then you remember, oh, right.
Yeah.
It's about to go really, really bad.
Like I know how this story ends. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because it was at the beginning.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
So yeah. So they're getting ready to start up the haunt. They've got everything kind of set up. They're still having walkie-talkie issues. They're having, most of the time the cameras seem to be fine, which makes sense because the walkie-talkies they'd put up with, but they'd never put up with the cameras not working.
Yeah.
Because it would just make it impossible to do the scares. It's also a pretty gory haunted house. Like a lot of the stuff was pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dining area of the hotel, they put like plates with like, plastic human body parts and stuff on it and stuff. So, I mean, it's more of an adult haunt than a kid haunt, or a family haunt would probably be a better way to put it. So it's a huge, huge event. And it looks like all of their hard work and effort and stick-to-itiveness is going to pay off, which would be nice after everything they've been through and the creepy things they've seen and the creepy things they've experienced and, people going into fugue states and people disappearing and then reappearing and then
speaking in tongues.
Yeah, or speaking barely at all, which is, I don't know, which is worse. So, it's looking like they're pulling it together. And this is the reason I love that reveal where like everybody shows up is because normally when you tell a story like this, not a horror movie, but a story about like people banding together and making a business and trying to do this stuff, and there's adversity and problems, but the guy who had the vision for it really sticks to it, and that makes it all come together. And then you see the fruits of that, like, oh man, people actually showed up. Usually that is the big win of the story. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a story about spirit, wrong word, gumption and hard
Moxie.
work. Moxie's a great word for it. Coming to terms, but instead, as we already know, it is going to be the downfall. The entire downfall.
Yeah.
Is that on top of everything, so many people showing up is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And we'll talk all about how bad it is right after this. I want to mention real quick, when we were talking earlier about mannequins moving and, kind of what's creepier, a mannequin moving or a mannequin only moving when you're not looking kind of deal. It's kind of like this big reveal that like all these people show up and they realize like, oh man, we're going to be a success. But we already know, because of the whole purpose of the mockumentary, that it goes horribly.
Yeah.
That is literally Hitchcock's description of suspense perfectly.
Oh, it is.
So for those who don't remember, and for possibly Rachel, who may be pretending she remembers, no, but Hitchcock always said that in a film, when you have somebody walk into a restaurant and ignite a bomb and the restaurant blows up, you have scared the audience for 4 seconds. But when you have somebody come into the restaurant and sit down, and then you show the bomb in the bag by their legs, and then they have lunch with someone and have a conversation, and you see that ticking clock on it, you have them in utter horror for 2 minutes. And that's suspense. When people know something is about to happen, then they're waiting for it. It's better suspense. Similarly with like seeing the mannequin move versus not seeing it move. It's all about the audience. If the audience saw it move or realized it was not in place, and we're, unlike the character, we're positive that it wasn't there before, we're the ones in fear because we're the ones who know like something's not right.
Yeah.
But with this, it's very similar. So you immediately find yourself tense because as they're having this, and I really do think in hindsight that it is like that victory of like, oh man, all of this is paying off. All these people showed up. They're friggin' amped for what we're doing. And literally the opening of the movie was, and so many people were there.
Yeah.
And when they were trying to escape,
all died.
They were trampled and there was the horrible thing and it was deemed a malfunction. That's something. So I just wanted to mention that I think that's such a great way to go. And it's one of the reasons why that kind of cold open, I forget the Latin term for it, that like opened
in medias
res. Something like that. In medias res or something. Yeah. The idea of seeing a scene earlier, although this is literally a cold open, because when you do in medias res, it's literally showing you a segment from a scene.
Yeah.
And then for no apparent reason, you see it and then you are just at the beginning now.
Yes.
So you're waiting to see that moment happen and what led to that moment. And then that moment does happen, as where this was actually presenting on purpose, saying like, this is what happened. Now we're going to show you like what could have caused it. Yeah. So it's a little bit more purposeful to the story as opposed to being more of a, a design tool for the audience only. It feeds the story as well.
Absolutely.
So, but because of that, as soon as they're getting there, you're like, okay, so for real, when is this going to go really, really bad? And they also don't give us entirely how it went really bad. We get pieces here and there.
Mm-hmm.
We just know a lot of people died and a lot of people got hurt, but they don't immediately say like, and then this is why everybody did whatever. So we're also just waiting with bated breath to find out, okay, so what happened exactly that caused all of this? And other elements feed into it too. When a character, any of the characters, not just the whole team going, yay, we did it. We saved the rec center, like in some like 80s movie. It's not just that either. It's like when a character, says a funny line or talks to like the cute actress girl and she's kind of like receptive to him. When you're hearing those things, you go, aw, you're like, they're dead. They're all dead. No, they're not just all dead. They're going to die and you're going to see it. And you're like, damn, okay, geez, you're like kicking dirt and walking away. So that's kind of my point about why I really love, I talked about it way longer than I should have, but like why I love the idea of seeing that huge crowd ready to go.
Yeah.
And now they're letting people in.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that this was like a pretty gory and adult haunt.
Yeah,
relatively. So that makes it even more terrifying as an audience member because that means that all the haunt goers are primed for when things do start going wrong. They're not going to suspect that it's actually going wrong.
Well, and they're told it's like the scariest haunt experience ever, which is any good marketer would tell you that.
That's what you should say.
Yeah,
if you don't say that, you're not doing your job as a haunt marketer.
Yeah, probably. And honestly, like a lot of the haunt doesn't even look that good, which I think is kind of funny.
I know.
That in the back of your mind, it's like, maybe this guy's better at selling haunts than he is doing them. But then again, he did make the most memorable haunt in the history of the world, because if that had really happened, it would be
no one would ever stop talking about it.
Because remember, in the world of urban legends and folklore, it's never happened. Like a bunch of people have never died at a haunt and then it had to be shut down by the county. It's never happened. And it's spread all over America as like a hushed story. So imagine how it would be everywhere if it actually happened.
Right.
Considering when it doesn't happen, everyone hears about it.
We'd never shut up about it.
No, and it's during the internet age.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, everybody would be posting about it. There'd at least be a few selfies where people would be like, whoa, like LOL, didn't realize this selfie was going to be, moments before the disaster at #HellHouse, #Abaddon Hotel or whatever, #smiley face or whatever they do.
#YOLO.
Oh God, that would have been YOLO time. Why'd you have to bring that up? Why'd you want to hurt everyone with that kind of
I'm sorry,
that kind of thing? It's a little bit harsh, but as people are, the other thing is, so now we've got this large turnout and the place is open, and it's getting pretty out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many people and they're trying to get them through, and we've been to haunts before. It is chaotic.
It is.
And some of the best haunters are the people who, like, when they're running the lines, they're very calm and easygoing. They're just kind of like, it'll be when you can. If you guys want, you could be a group of 6, then you'll get in faster. But if you two want to go by yourselves, that's fine too. Like, just let me know. They're trying their best to not freak out, because, people, and especially people get drunk, and it gets to be a pain. But we have all these people in there, and now as people are pushing through the haunt, and we're seeing everybody trying to like keep the haunt going and do their groove and get in their flow, we head to the basement where things go awry worse than you could ever imagine, and we'll tell you all about it after this.
Let me ask you a question.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers that. Oh, bye, everybody. So what's something, if you were at a haunt, what's something you just absolutely would not want to see under any circumstances?
Scientology literature.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah. What about the Church of Latter-day Saints?
But they're not going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Not enough ice cream.
That's funny. Well, yeah. But no. I mean, what things I wouldn't want to see? I mean, I wouldn't want to see people actually get hurt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, I think I know where you're going with this, but the reason I can't go with you on that is because if I saw, you're talking about when the haunt guy is like heading he's heading out of Dodge.
Yeah.
The reason that wouldn't freak me out is because anything a haunt actor does, I'm going to assume is to scare me. So if they run out going like, Jesus Christ, like they killed her for real or something like that, I would just be like, right, sure.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, because he's a haunt actor.
But that's kind of proves my point, though, is that's exactly what happens. Is the guy who's down there, he's the only person with the key to get out the poor haunt actress that's half naked and chained down in the basement. He runs, books it out of Dodge, screaming. And all of the haunt goers, like, somebody's recording and they're like, what's that? And they start talking like, I wonder what he's doing. And that's the beauty of, well, the beauty and the horror of this situation is everybody's primed for this is entertainment. And so it's kind of like the little boy who cried wolf sort of thing. They don't realize that what's happening with the haunt actress is really real until it's too
You should probably
late.
tell them what that is. You
So-
went into the guy running away, but you didn't say why he was running away.
I guess. So I didn't say why he was running.
Yeah.
So this guy runs the
Yeah.
opposite direction of the crowd. They're going down the stairs into the basement. And as they peek around the corner, they start hearing this bloody screaming coming from the haunt.
Bloody screaming?
Well, bloody screaming.
Screaming bloody murder?
Screaming bloody murder.
I know
There
what
we
you were
go.
getting to,
Yeah.
what you're going for.
Screaming
I
bloody
just
murder.
want to pick on you.
Words are hard, okay?
I know. I'm actually way better with words today than I thought I'd be.
You took it from me.
Yep. Darn tootin'. Check the back of your mouth for holes. Haha, the burrows. I like that show on Netflix so far. But anyway.
So they peek around the corner, they hear her screaming, and a hooded figure is like towering over her and starts stabbing her. And at first the crowd is like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And then she like starts screaming, this is real.
Well, and when you mentioned people being primed, by the way, do you remember Scare Tactics on Sci-Fi Channel?
Yeah.
It was like the ultimate horror prank show. They would do like movie level pranks, you know, like levitating ghosts and all this crazy stuff. And they would film insert shots to make it look more like a movie, but the reactions were legitimate. And they did some really cool stuff with special effects and all these things. But I, for years, had said, like, if I ever pulled a knife on someone and tried to like kill them and was like stalking them and chasing them down, I would literally, if I got tired of chasing them, I would just, when they were like stuck behind a door or whatever, I'd be like, are you scared? You shouldn't be. You're on Scare Tactics. And when they open the door, I just stab them in the heart. I always thought for years, I was like, I should put that in a movie, you know, or something, like, because that would be the easiest way to get them. Once that became known, it's just, you're on Scare Tactics. And then they just actually kill them. It's like, well, that was easy. All I had to do was diffuse you completely.
Man, you remember Punked?
Of course I remember Punked. Everybody remembers Punked. Punked was way bigger than Scare Tactics.
It really was.
Punked was everywhere because they were constantly pranking celebrities.
Yeah.
They only did a few celebrities on Scare Tactics and they didn't take it so good. Some of them. Just saying. I mean, some people got real mad because they were scared really bad. But anyway, so this ghostly cultist murders Melissa, the haunt actress who's been chained for real in the basement, and now there's just a stampede of guests. And it's pretty brutal.
I mean, I think mayhem is a good word for that.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I mean, you know, we had so Tony ends up dying trying to help Melissa, which doesn't, you know, do any good. And then in the whole like crazy panic, I think it was Mac and Sarah find each other.
Yeah.
And they end up running away to try and get away from the chaos, doing the thing where they went further into the place instead of out of it because it was the only way to get away. So they go up to like the attic, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They go all the way up.
But when they get there, they find Alex and he's hanging. He's hanged himself. I keep forgetting that hanged is the proper term when it's that. He's hanged himself, much like that cultist who started the place. And I liked that dichotomy because they had suggested that the cultist, once his place was ruined, the reputation was ruined and it couldn't run anymore, he killed himself. And now his haunt is ruined by whatever, you know, is transpiring because the smoke hasn't cleared yet. So he's hanged himself. But I think that I took it more as like the ghost did that to him as a symbol.
I agree.
To kind of like to stick it to him and them for trying to take their place and make a joke out of it or whatever. That was the vibe I got from it. I don't know
absolutely.
if you did too.
No, I get that. I get that vibe because it seems like the ghostly presence, just wanted them to get out. It wanted to just be left alone.
I think it wanted some of them to stay forever. That was just
well,
my
I guess
opinion,
that is
though.
the problem. I guess that is the problem is how long you stay.
Yeah.
But no, it's and I absolutely agree that the way that Alex hanged himself, I feel like that was the ghost taking control of him.
Yeah, and after we see all of that revealed, we go back to Now Time, the documentary.
Yeah.
And that's where things start to get really interesting. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
So the footage of the pandemonium wraps up, and we're back at the hotel in the interview hotel.
Yeah, we're in the that is confusing because there's a hotel too. Well, and I was actually just going to correct because they weren't in a hotel room; they're in like a conference room interviewing her.
You're right.
That's fine. Yeah. But I'm just saying. But then when you said the other hotel, I'm like, oh yeah, because the Hell House is a hotel. So no, I'm with you. I just thought it was funny. I was correcting a totally different thing. I was like, well, not a hotel room, but a place in a hotel.
Yes, they're in a room in a hotel that's not a hotel room.
I mean, we've already covered all of this. I don't know why we need to cover it more.
But she tells Diane that she escaped from the attic, but Tony wasn't able to. She got away just as the police arrived, and she doesn't know, like, kind of what happened after that because she was pretty shaken up.
Yeah.
But she's pretty tired now, and she needs to take a rest.
Well, she's upset.
Yeah, and they do even say, like, we're so sorry, we really did push you pretty hard.
Yeah, they tell her, like, you can take a break. You can take any break you want.
Yeah.
They even offer to get her a room at the hotel they're interviewing her at. They're like, would you like us to book you a room and you can just rest and we'll talk in a little while? Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's fine. I already have a room. You can find me in room 2C. And that's pretty interesting. But as they're sitting there talking, and it's clearly been a little while, but Sarah hasn't come back. So they try to find the room, and they can't find it. They go down to the front desk and ask where room 2C is. And they say
they asked to call room 2C.
Well, they ask. Yeah. Okay, that's right. And they're like, there's no letters in our room numbers. And they're like, well, that's weird because Sarah Havel said that she was checked in here.
Yeah, but they're not even that freaked out. They're like, oh, maybe she just misspoke. Like, we just want to call Sarah Havel's room.
Yeah. And they're like, well, nobody.
They look around, they're like, nobody named Sarah is staying here right now.
Yeah. So that's kind of a disappointment that they can't get a finished statement from Sarah, but that's not going to stop Diane because, well, let's just go to the abandoned hotel ourselves.
Because she's a go-getter with middle management written all over her.
And
quote, Office Space. So Diane and Jonathan decide to go back to Abaddon Hotel, which, because she's just kind of like, we could go there, like, no one will notice that we're there. It's like late and it'll be late soon. Like, nobody's going to know. We can just try and get something more, especially since they don't have Sarah possibly anymore. And I think it's interesting too, like, while the Alex character is obsessed with his haunt and getting it nailed, the documentary crew is like way more balanced for the most part. Don't get me wrong. Like, Diane becomes obsessed with, like, no, let's take some risks to get it. But she's not like, I can't believe Sarah ran off. Like, we have to find her, like, whatever. They're like, no, she was really upset. Like, I get it. She just didn't want to do this anymore. And I don't blame her. You know, like, she's not like, it's interesting that dichotomy, like, it's similar, but very different. So they're going to go back to the hotel. And meanwhile, their editor is going to stay behind and keep cataloging the footage we've been watching from Sarah.
Yes.
And this is where, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, because it's the beginning of the big ending, but this is where I felt like the film really, like, hooked me deep, like, and made me go, okay, I think I'm going to be really, like, I'm going to really be happy when this movie's over. I think it's going to really be a good ending, because the moment that there's no room 2C, I immediately, did you have the immediate thought that was the room number at the Abaddon?
Mm-hmm,
yeah, that was my first thought too, as I was like, that's a room at the Abaddon Hotel. Crap. But speaking of the Hitchcock rule, this is a perfect example of the Hitchcock rule. So they take off to go to the Abaddon Hotel, and Mitchell looks through Sarah's footage, and he finds footage after Mac has died, where Paul is possessed, and he murders Sarah on camera. Like, she is clearly murdered, and then he slits his own throat, which kind of makes sense because no one actually said that there were any survivors per se, except Sarah. Sarah came to them and was like, I'm the only survivor of the Abaddon thing. I don't think the police ever said in any of the little like pieces, snippets they had, I don't think anybody said there were survivors. Nobody said anything about survivors, because if there were none, they wouldn't say, and there were no survivors. No, well, you just said 15 people died. You don't add and no survivors. You only bring it up if there is any,
Yeah.
So he's witnessed this, which now tells us who the hell is Sarah, but it's Sarah for sure. It's her. Yes. It's not an imposter or something. They didn't pull a daytime soap opera and have her have a twin sister or something, although that would have been kind of funny. So now, talking about Hitchcock's suspense, now Diane and cameraman Jonathan, they've broken into the Abaddon Hotel and they're trying to see if they can kind of gather any more information about what happened. And the whole time they're walking around this dark, gross place that is half real gross and half fake haunt gross and half wrecked by cops searching it. Her phone is ringing and it's Mitchell trying to tell them Sarah's dead. How were we interviewing Sarah all day? She's dead. And they're not taking the call. In fact, she's just annoyed. She's like, why is he just like, he knows we're here trying to do this real quick and we're not supposed to be here.
Just leave a voicemail.
And that's the perfect suspense. You know something and they don't, and it's coming to get you, and it will right after this.
So Diane refuses to answer her phone because she needs answers.
Well, yeah, I said that before the break, but sure.
I was getting people, it's like you return from the commercial break and the characters say the thing they just said, so you remember.
Do they do that?
Not anymore, but they used to.
Woof. Go on.
And cameraman Jonathan, to his credit, pretty quickly starts insisting that this is a very bad idea.
Yeah.
And we should leave. But Diane does not want to hear it. And she's so excited seeing like blood on the walls. And she's even like, we don't even know if this is real blood or not. And Jonathan's like, that's not a good thing.
No.
And she keeps leading them further and further into this haunted hotel until they go down to the basement. Of course they do. And things start moving around and they start hearing things. And then they...
I really don't remember them going downstairs. I just remember when they went to the second floor and found the room.
Oh, they did find the room. No, sorry. See, I was getting myself mixed up.
Oh, with your transcript?
With my transcript.
Yeah, they went up to the second floor, and that's when they realized there was a room labeled 2C.
2C.
And they're like, oh. And it has a little lock from the outside. Not a big lock. It was one of those little hook and loop locks.
Mm-hmm.
But it was on the outside, which would suggest that whoever's in there couldn't have done that.
Exactly.
Which is a nice touch. It doesn't really matter that much, except that it's impossible for the person in there. There has to have been somebody else or something else involved.
Right.
So they open the door and Sarah is sitting in the room on the bed with her back to them. And Diane and Jonathan realize things are not right. And she turns out to be this like ghoulish thing.
Yeah.
And she attacks them. And as they're trying to like get away or whatever, two cultists kind of similar to what we'd seen appear before show up and they take away our hapless documentarians.
Yeah. And that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Sorry, Rachael wanted to, she was like being like ChatGPT and like hallucinating a different ending for fun.
It's good to have hobbies. No, I really got myself mixed up with that earlier in the movie.
Uh-huh. Don't believe her, kids.
No,
but so, I mean, and that is the chilling ending of House LLC. And it's a really strong ending. I mean, having Sarah be a ghost is such a cool twist. I know that some people would say it's been done a lot, but it hasn't been done like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it was great. I mean, and the rules being established, like they were filming her, but she was a ghost. So I guess ghosts can be filmed, you know, like I like that. I like that element too, though. It's like, okay, so like, I like when rules are broken in like this kind of space, but then you realize like, oh wait, I guess there really are no rules. So I was just being silly by thinking like, well, how do they film it? I don't know. It's a ghost. Do you know how ghosts work? I like that. I always think that that's fun and a great way to be extra creative.
Oh, I agree.
But yeah, so that's House LLC. I love that film. I think it really holds up great. It's a great Halloween time film to really kind of pull you into that spirit, which is why we shared it for Summerween.
Yeah.
The I'm assuming millennial concocted Halloween in the summer. I ain't complaining. I'm participating. But so for you, first of all, we should compare it and contrast it just a little bit more to the House's October build.
Yeah.
Because that's why we did them back to back, because they're often confused with each other and compared because of the similar release time and similar basic concepts. So what did you think about them comparatively?
I enjoyed them both equally, but I will say that when it comes to like strictly October vibes, Halloween October vibes, for some reason House's October built did it for me more, and I think is it because they visited so many haunts at once.
I mean, you're definitely right, but I was trying to tell you to bring your microphone closer to your face because you were drifting away from it. I tried to signal to her and she looked at me like she was about to get hit by a car. It's like I was just trying to tell you as quickly as I could without missing a beat.
I was hoping that I was reading your gesture right. That's why I looked confused.
And the gesture was to be confused and scared? You're like, be confused and scared now. But no, House of October, I mean, they go to so many places. They interview so many people. They see so many people in makeup and costumes. And so it's way more Halloween-y in a very broad way that I think works. But House LLC, just the fact that it's in a haunt basically the whole movie, I feel like that's where it gets the biggest part of its Halloween energy for me.
I agree. And I also like any story where it's a haunted house obviously is going to be a little bit more fun for Halloween time. And I think this is fun that it's a haunted house.
Yeah, there aren't nearly as many of those as you'd think.
Yeah.
Although you should see Hellfest. It's a like a massive haunt that turns into like real people getting murdered. Ooh. But it's like a giant haunt. It's like the size of Land of Illusion.
Oh man.
And people just start getting slaughtered in there. I saw it in the theater during the very brief run it had, and I really enjoyed it. Hellfest.
Hellfest.
Well, then remember Haunt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you loved Haunt. That one
was fun.
That's a really
that one
solid,
was really fun.
That's a really solid, killer haunt kind of vibe. So I mean, there are some, but not nearly as many maybe as you'd think. And also, both of the ones I just mentioned aren't about haunts being haunted. They're just haunts where people get killed. So they don't have ghosts at all. So, not quite the
Can't
same
win
deal.
them all.
Yeah. So you prefer House's October built?
I think so. Just a little bit.
Because of Halloween energy, or is there more to
it? Because of the Halloweeny energy, it really scratched that itch for me.
Okay, yeah.
But I would say, like, as far as found footage and mockumentary type films, I would say this is a pretty solid one. Mm-hmm. It's hard to hold a candle to something like Wreck.
Well, that's not a documentary. That's just found footage.
Yeah, because it's strictly found footage,
yeah.
But.
They're filming a documentary, but it's not presented as one.
Exactly. But it's really fun. It's really entertaining. It had really, really good scares. I feel like there was several where like I jumped really, really hard.
There were a couple. Hopefully it wasn't because you were falling asleep, but I don't know for sure. I
think I stayed awake, or maybe I'm asleep right now.
If you say, I think I stayed awake, I think that's the most damning statement you should make. I'm pretty sure I stayed awake. So you weren't aware of your mental faculties. But no, I mean, I think it's honestly, it's a solid one. And honestly, after this revisit, I used to like House's October built more. And now I'm kind of leaning House LLC.
Oh, the old flipperoo.
Flipperoony, but yes.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So
no, I think they're both really good, and I'm very glad that I watched House LLC. I think that we might have to keep this in the rotation for Halloween movies.
you don't want to watch the sequels?
Actually, I do want to. I'm curious about the sequels. I'm curious.
I think the first 3 are all about Abaddon and the hotel.
Okay.
And then they move on to something related but different.
Okay.
So I would be down to rewatch those. But with that all being said, what is next on the chopping block?
The next one is a little weird.
A little weird.
Weird.
Okay.
So next we are doing Tonight She Comes from 2017.
Yeah, so this is not a well-known movie at all. This is not a very popular film. We saw this at the Asylum Night of the Movies, I think is what they called it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was a special screening they did at Cinemark movie theaters of Asylum films, which were films made by the movie studio that brought you Sharknado. I actually talked about it briefly earlier. Sharknado and all those kind of ridiculous mockbusters and stuff. And the movies they showed were really out there.
Yeah.
One of them that was really interesting was there was that one Bad Girl, which actually was Samara Weaving's first film in Australia before she came to America. It was also, very, very good. But that was the first time Samara Weaving was in American theaters. And then 3 years later, she's in Bill and Ted 4. It was really or 3, but it was really crazy. So they were really interesting. But of all the films, a couple of them were a little stinker. A few were really, really good. But the only one that left us just completely what? I'm not even sure how you're going to describe what happens in this movie on the podcast when we talk about it.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, first we should probably say the title. It's called Tonight She Comes.
I did say it already.
No one believes that. No, but no, it's, you did. You mentioned the year and that. Yeah. Tonight She Comes from 2016. Bizarre horror film.
Yeah.
Tonight She Comes.
And
yeah.
What I like, one of the reasons it's got such a fond spot in my heart is because I was not well versed with slasher films when I saw this. So it was really, really fun for kind of one of my first introductions to slasher films, being a film set that's kind of a love letter and also bucking every trend of slasher films that it possibly can at the same time. It's just nuts.
Yeah, no, it's way far out, and it's available to watch to stream free with ads on Fandango at home. You can also rent or buy it on Amazon Prime Video and Apple TV. And this is one I really recommend you watch if you like your horror, just absolute batshit.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be covering next time on Cutting Deep into Horror. And I am cautiously excited to rewatch it. Part of me's worried that it just will somehow not be as great.
Yeah, I really hope that's not the case.
I'm hopeful too. So, but with that all being said, we're going to get out of here until next time. But remember, you've been listening to Cutting Deep into Horror here at Weekly Spooky. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a like or a comment if you're able, or a 5-star rating on your podcast app of your choice. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at weeklyspooky@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Suggestions, topics, movie recommendations, or just, how wrong we were about a movie we're talking about. That's fine too. We'd love to hear from you at weeklyspooky@gmail.com. And if you want to support us in a very direct way, head to weeklyspooky.com/join and find out how for $1 a month, at the bare minimum, you can get 2 bonus shows every month and over 5 years of creepypasta readings and audiobooks at weeklyspooky.com/join. So now we're going to get out of here and hopefully open this haunted house that I just bought. So until next time, stay spooky and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Bye.